From the peanut gallery over there, you guys got the nosebleed. Sorry.
Oh, sit down. It's funny
You
to
just
see.
pay as much as these people who paid nothing.
Yes.
This is a question for each of you, of your own opinion. What was your favorite Full Metal Alchemist episode and your favorite Samurai 7 episode?
The one where he died and the one where he died.
Ditto. No, actually, that is true.
Yeah.
The one where I die at both of them, I like that.
Yeah, actually those were my favorite too. Funny. We both have the same desires.
For different reasons.
By the way, I want to say that it's hard for me to cry while watching anime, but whenever Hughes died, I like bawl. I bawl too.
Same here.
That episode and the Nina episode's just like.
Oh, that was sad.
And by the way, I love the Flame versus Full Metal. That was great.
Flavors Full Metal.
It's like, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
I like when you guys did the Flame versus Full Metal.
Oh, the Flame versus Full Metal. That was a great episode to record. That was a lot of fun. That was the Alicia Following Me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That was a great one to record. Trying to think of other Sam 7 episodes that were. Honestly, I like the first and the second episode of Sam 7. I think they're brilliant and they're beautifully done.
The first three are really solid.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money doing that CGI stuff.
Yes.
Any what? We just finished recording it.
Oh, I want to talk about it now? Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. Here first, folks.
Yeah, that's been announced.
Can we talk about where it's going to be?
Maybe you heard it here.
I don't know that we can.
Okay, never mind. Look for it soon.
Yes.
Everywhere.
It's also beautifully done and much more expensive. Both of us are writers.
Well, first of all, you got to go to the drugstore and get some Excedrin because you've got to interpret a very, very rough script.
Yeah, we start out with a translation, a literal Japanese translation.
A lot of people think that when they see subtitled versions that's the translation. That's not the translation. That's
No,
someone's
it's not.
interpretation of the translation.
Yeah, and you get people who watch our episodes with like both of them playing the Japanese sub and our version playing and are examining the script compared to each other and saying that ours isn't the same. It might be closer to the translation than the subs.
Yeah.
So, you know.
We try to keep it really close, but you have to match the mouth flaps because we're not Japanese, and in Japan they get away with that.
Yeah. But anyway, the process. We
go ahead.
get the head writer, let's say Jared Hedges, gets the translations from the Japanese, from our Japanese translator. And we have the video, which is time-coded. It's got a little time code bar at the top that tells you, like, frame by frame, what number you're at. And as you script it...
God doesn't want us
Four
to
horsemen
have
are coming
exits.
right from there. As you script it, you go frame by frame, looking for where the individual mouth opens, where it starts to open. Mark that frame down, and then you say what they are saying, or if they're doing some kind of reaction, like a clenched teeth react into open mouth punch into this line. Yeah. And then you have to make sure that with the translation you get makes sense in English. So you're trying to work it into English language, and you take it back.
And then you give it to the director, and then the director has to make sure that the actor can match those flaps and still sound natural, which is not as easy as it sounds. I mean, I know some wonderful actors that I've had come in to audition. I've worked with them in theater, and they're terrible when they get behind the mic, because it's some kind of rhythmic thing. You know, you got to be able to let go and let the picture make you into a puppet.
Yeah, because you're responding so quickly to what's going on. It's almost like the best flap matchers, like Lucy Christian is a fantastic flap matcher, Monica Real is a fantastic flap matcher, are almost psychic when it comes to flaps, because they will do it for the first time. It will not necessarily be a fantastic script, and they can just fill it last second with something, with a sound that matches the flaps. It's incredible. And dub writing is not a precise process. People talk slower than other people, and you don't know who the actor is going to be, who's going to be doing the script, the character that you're scripting. So Sunny may talk slower than I'm scripting him, or he may talk faster than I'm scripting him. And so it's an imprecise thing, but the director's job or the producer's job is to make sure it all turns out in the wash.
Generally, a good writer that can get it within 2 flaps.
Yeah.
If you can get it within 2 flaps, then an actor can match it.
Yeah.
Or very little changes will have to be made in the studio. And that's very important. You don't want to take up too much studio time writing a script. You've got an actor who's coming in who's getting paid a lot of money per hour. A director who's getting paid some money per hour. And you don't want to waste that time.
Does that answer?
Any other questions?
Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry.
What are your favorite lines from any of the work that you've done?
I guess I started out doing Krillin. The writer of that script was trying to be very cool. I guess he was cool in the 80s because he would write things like Mondo Cool and stuff like that. And we kept it in the script, so Krillin would say, "Oh, Mondo Cool!" And on my website, there's actually a section that's called the Mondo Cave, where you can come in and write and ask questions about the shows and stuff. I like the Mondo Cool line. It wasn't Mondo Cool, but it was.
Mondo nerdy.
Yeah.
If any of you are watching Kodacha, in one of the latest episodes, there's a rap that Mama does that I don't remember, so don't ask for. But she sings actually along with a Japanese tune behind one of Sana's raps, and it was a lot of fun to do.
Yes.
Why does it always happen to me?
Why does it always happen to me?
What's the difference between recording or directing in stereo, directing for surround sound?
There's no difference in the direction, actually. It's a difference in the mix. And our mix, actually, the mix engineer, it depends, his ability to do that depends on what we get from the Japanese. We don't always get separate soundtracks with, in fact, we never get the footsteps here and the music here and the voices here. We never get that. So anything you see is never going to be perfect surround sound. It'll be 5.1 if it's anything. And that's only if the soundtrack and the sound effects are separate, which is not.
And that's a pretty recent consideration.
Yeah,
for us, too.
yeah.
I mean, for a long time, it was just stereo. That's all you got.
And Nathaniel Harrison is one of our mix engineers who's made that the most possible. He is phenomenal, and he's done a lot of studying, and he's getting all of our mix engineers up to date, and the stuff he's doing is absolutely incredible. But it's really not a difference in direction.
Got a quick question for the cheap seats, actually.
Yes.
How did Hughes feel when he died?
Unemployed.
It's all about money.
That was great. It's such that somebody's like dressing, like, kind of looks like your wife, and then you get shot by them.
Yeah, that's pretty cold-blooded, isn't it? That's how I want to go, though, in real life.
That was not Sunny's reaction.
I
when
want
he was
someone to dress up
recording.
like my wife and then kill me.
When Sunny was recording and he came in for the last episode, though, it was more along the lines of, I can't, no more money.
I don't want to give up this character. Yeah. We spent a lot of time on that last show, though. Probably more than we usually get a chance to spend time on it.
That was directed by Mike McFarland, by the way.
Yes.
Excellently.
You do a lot of different voices. When you're trying to think of a voice for a character, like Krillin is much different than me and you.
Right.
How do you what do you do in order to try to get a voice that doesn't sound like you're speaking out of your role?
Yeah, I generally look at the character, and I look at his face and watch, and if I can see it move enough, then I can get an idea of how I think he should sound. Like Zenshiro was easy. I mean, and he speak butt cake like that. And I was just like, okay, that's his voice. Krillin, we got the part, the Dragon Ball Z cast was cast by people who could sound like the first cast, who did like the first season. I guess, I don't know if you remember that because we re-recorded it.
Yeah.
But, so we had to sound like the original, and the original Krillin had a voice like, hey Goku, wait up! And I got the part because I could sound like that. But after I got the part, the director said, you know, that sounds just like the original Krillin, but I hate that voice. Can you, I know he's like a midget, but can you make him sound like a tough midget? I was like, a little scratch in my voice maybe, something like that? And he's like, yeah, that's weird. Do that. But how do you go about it?
It's a mix between seeing the character and knowing what they look like and what that looks like it would sound like to you, and what the director has in mind, because the director will frequently say, okay, make that a little bit scratchier, or can you make it a little more nasal? I think with Zenjiro, it started out with more of a lisp and turned into buck teeth.
Yeah.
And then there's also, if you have voices that you've been working on, trying to fit them into places, because if you are a voice actor in the industry and your voice has been heard over and over again, your best chance of getting cast is finding a voice that you have not done before.
That's true.
Not because the fans don't want to hear the same voices over and over, but because the directors don't want to cast the same voices over and over. It gets boring.
Also, what goes into it is understanding who the character is. And one of the great things about anime is that we have manga, and we can go back and research who these characters are. And I read like all the Dragon Ball stuff to figure out who this Krillin guy was. So, I mean, a lot of it comes internally, you know, because if you not understand who this person is, then you're going to be able to portray a voice that sounds more like him. And that's why season 2s are always better than season 1.
The first episode will always be the roughest.
Yeah. Yes?
How do you change the soundtrack from Japanese to American?
Very rarely change the soundtracks.
Well, they used to at the beginning, but
Oh, okay.
they don't so much now, I think, because of the fan feedback, because most fans don't like that.
Yeah.
I think they were thinking, yeah.
Do what?
It is an executive decision, you know. Generally, it's by some think tank that thinks that this will appeal to more Americans if we change this. Sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't.
And about half the time, it's the Japanese's idea.
That's
Including
true.
the changing of names, which is something that
Yeah.
a lot of fans hate. The Japanese frequently insist that the names be changed because they want it to be marketable to an American audience, and that's because they're trying to market it to that mass we were talking about who's watching it, and not to the 4% who are talking online and who are anime fans. So
There was one
it's-
particular show that,
it's what we
and
get
I won't
told.
mention the name of it, but the Japanese really came down on the director because he made it so Japanese. And it actually became one of our most successful shows. And this guy was promoted for it later, but at first he was chewed out for it because it was like, this is an example of how you're not supposed to do it. And then now we all do
Yeah, because it works so well.
that. Yeah, exactly. Yes?
Why was this, why did there seem such a hero going more from Japanese style and with this idea of having to make Americanized?
You know what I think it is? I think that people assume that people are different in other places, when really people are all just the same. And you can relate to anyone because everyone has the same emotions no matter where they are. And I think that people get this idea in their head that, oh, no, American people are different, so we have to approach this differently. And generally that's not the case.
I didn't really hear the question, so yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Yes?
Greed.
Oh.
I loved Greed. I was so happy, so happy that I got to direct that arc, because I only had my 2 requirements. I want to direct the Nina stuff, and I want to direct the Greed stuff. And I got to direct a lot of the Dante, the old woman Dante stuff, which is another of my favorites. But Greed just right to the heart.
I like Lust and Envy, and I like those characters too. What? Any other questions?
Come on, don't be shy. All right. Start with Greed. Haha. You raised
I
your
think,
hand.
oh, you're over in the corner.
This guy over here.
Okay, right there.
I'm sorry, just go right here.
Go right there.
Sorry, there's a glare.
Yeah, what the hell do you do?
Yeah, actually, recently Justin Cook was promoted again, and Laura Bailey, Mike McFarland, and myself took over his job, as well as Chris Bevins, who's